Then we just start looking back at the weekend. Corey had a red card. What were your thoughts on it? Did you think about appealing it? What was your process?
My thoughts at the time was quite clear how disappointed I was with the decision, and that's still the case. You know, I had a conversation with the refereeing department on Monday, you know, and I was even more disappointed after that conversation, really, because I think they felt the decision was right rather than a mistake. My feeling on it is that we need to remind ourselves and reset really what VAR was brought in for. And this isn't just because it's my team, but obviously you're asking me the question because it's affecting my team, and it's not just affected what happened on Saturday, because it potentially cost us 2 extra points. We could have went on to win the game, no guarantee with that, of course, but it made the job extremely far more difficult. But it affects us the next 2 games with Corey being suspended. So my take on it is the referee is meeting you away, he's 3 yards away, he's in a brilliant position, he's got he's in the stadium, he gets a flavour of the game, he senses it, he's right in the heat of the battle, so to speak, and he sees it for what it is, which for me was a tackle that he deemed a yellow card offence. I didn't think it was a yellow card, and I was a bit disappointed at the time. So when you've got, no matter how good the referee is in the VAR room, he's sitting in a sanitised office watching that, rerunning it, I'm sure, and before we know it, we're looking at things and magnifying it and think, oh wait a minute, this might just be something dangerous. I'll say to you what I said to Crawford Allen, there's nobody will tell me any differently that if Corey gets yellow carded, the game gets played out, there's nobody, I think, from the Hibs end or you boys commenting on the fact that was a ridiculous decision. Why did VAR not get involved in that? Why was that not a red card? I don't think that's the case. I think they've made it a thing by getting involved, and I'm sure about that. And I think we need to reset about what VAR was brought in for. Let the referee the game. If the referee's not got a good image of it or a good position to look at the instant, then fair enough. VAR might say, from where you are, you might really need to have a look at this again. But he's got a perfect. He's seen it for what it was. And this is no criticism of Nick Walsh or anybody in a VAR room. Nick Walsh for me is arguably the best referee we've got. Certainly in the top 3 referees in the country. He's been almost faultless over the last couple of seasons. I think he's a top official. But I think it was wrong to get involved in this instance.
Mm-hmm. Just, you know, you're talking about re-refereeing games. That seems to be what VAR is doing. Is there anything that you can do? Do you speak to other managers? You say you need to reset it. What's the plan?
We're all saying the same thing. Normally we say the same thing when it affects our own club. But you do take an interest in what you hear other managers' comments, because there was a lot going on Saturday. But ultimately, my only concern, my overriding concern, is Kilmarnock, and when we feel harshly treated and hard done by, then it's up to us to speak against that on the basis of the conversation we had on Monday. No, we haven't appealed it. You know, I didn't think it was any real point in appealing it, and obviously we didn't want to. We just accept what it is, because the refereeing department gave their reason for the red card, and we've got to accept that whether we like it or not.
But just in terms of, you say you need to reset what VAR is. Do you think that can happen? Do you think that the game as a whole can look at what VAR is and saying?
Well, it can. I don't know why it can. I mean, I think they should give more autonomy to the referee, more responsibility to the referee, and go back to where it was. But the referees, and I was the biggest advocate, as big an advocate for VAR as anybody, we needed to help the referees. But it's how we're implementing the VAR, I think, it can be better. And if anybody thinks otherwise, then I don't know what land they're living in. Do you know what I mean? And as a refereeing department, need to say, how can we do this better? And I do think, you know, I've said this before, Nick Walsh should be on the pitch. All our best referees, and I know you've got to get the experience somehow. A lot of the younger referees coming through deserve opportunities to improve, to get the experience. But when you're in the Premier League, I think get your best ones on the pitch. Nick Walsh, as I say, for me, I'd rather he was on pitches this weekend than sitting in a VAR. I don't know where he is. He's probably, I don't know. In fact, I think he's doing our game again. He is. Nick Walsh is brilliant, by the way. In case you suddenly picked up on that. But get our best referees out on the pitch, get ex-referees in the VAR rooms, get the experience still for the younger ones and let them earn the right to manage and referee in the Premier League. We're not in a position in Scotland to have our best referees sitting in the VAR room, and I know they need to be trained and as well in the VAR room for that side of it, but get ex-referees who don't have the capacity to run about the pitch anymore, but they're still sharp and they still know the rules and they still know what it is. I've said that since it came in. I think we've got to utilise the referees we've got, and if we don't have a host of options, keep our best ones on the pitch.
Yeah, you said you were more disappointed after speaking to Crawford Allen.
Because of the take on it, they I think the feeling is, and his explanation was that the justification for the red card. So we totally disagreed on the reasons, but at least we had the conversation, and you're always respectful of that, and you're always grateful for having the explanation and getting from the referee's side of it. Still not to say, even after his explanation, that I agreed with it, because I don't.
That's because future problems, can't it? If referees got a different look at a game, the managers have a look at a game, we could build lots of these.
Yeah, but they gave their reasons for it. It's more, without getting into too much, it was more the exiting of the tackle, which was seen as the reason why VAR got involved.
Has that made you less likely, Derek, to speak to Crawford Allen in the future?
No. Don't really. I hope we don't need to speak too often, but I think it's always better to talk these things over. I mean, you don't always get the answer you want to hear, but I still think it's best to get their side of it, and I think it's sometimes good for them to hear our side of it as managers and the experience that we've got in dealing with challenges and certain situations. Plus, you don't always want to be bleating and moaning and giving your opinion through the media all the time. I think sometimes you've got to be able to tell them what you think. So, and we both did.
That'll do for the last track, guys. Aye, sure. Robbie Dees?
Fractured his cheekbone, unfortunately, in the same game. VAR didn't get involved in that one because it was his own player. We had a challenge, and unfortunately we got him operated quickly on Monday morning, but he'll be out for the next few weeks, unfortunately.
A few weeks down, you say?
Yeah, I think there's a chance to go and see the specialist again in 2 weeks' time, 2 weeks from the surgery. So a week on Monday we'll go back and see the specialist, and then from then they'll make a suggestion the best way forward, whether I think some people are suited to maybe wearing a mask that would maybe help them get back a bit quicker. Certainly he'll be non-contact for the next few weeks anyway.
Another managerial casualty today, one of your former charges at Aberdeen. What's your thoughts on that?
Disappointed as always. I think there's been a lot of stuff written and said about Barry's position, and I know how difficult it is for any manager, particularly a younger manager, in that job. I think Barry earned the right for the job. I think it was his time as caretaker. Obviously Aberdeen were searching for a manager at the time, and the longer that went on and the more results Barry got, I don't think anybody was really too surprised, and I think everybody has a general feeling right across the board that Barry had earned the opportunity. So, and he did well last season. He's had to contend with a lot this season, none more so than when the heat comes on and results aren't quite as what's expected. It's having to deal with that. So it's extremely disappointing for Barry. Of course it is. He's a pal and I speak to him regular, but he was, this time last year or just prior, he was under 18s manager. He's managed to put himself in the forefront. He's managed to gain a lot of experience as a first team manager, managing cup finals, managing Europe. So he's gained a lot from it. So my initial thoughts are for Barry, and hopefully, as I say, he'll be take the good from the experience and move on to his next opportunity when it comes along. But it's always never nice when you see a manager lose his job, but such is life.
Was it you that brought him into the fold at Aberdeen? So
I signed him as a player, gave him 2 or 3 one-year contracts, and then we towards the end of his career I had him playing regularly with the youth team, really, as an overage player, and I seen how good he was with the younger ones, bringing them on. He was always keen and eager to ask questions on the coaching side of it. And between myself and the board, Stuart Milne, we managed to create a role really for him when he finished playing. And he was a kind of hybrid, a bit like Chris Burke here, to be honest. A hybrid role between 18s, reserves and first team, and got him doing a lot of video analysis and got him a lot of kind of stuff that was really worthwhile for us. And then after that first year, I felt he was ready to take his own team and get the experience of running his own team, and we gave him an under 18s job. I gave him an under 18s job, and he did very well with that. But I also had him in the dressing room on a Saturday with me because he was very popular with the lads. He was a brilliant competitor, and his enthusiasm was endless. So he was he's got so many good qualities, Barry. So like I say, he'll bounce back.
Do you think overall, Derek, in Scotland we give managers enough time?
No, I don't generally, but I think that's us into, is it 5 out of 12? No, I don't, but I think each case is probably different. It was always a case where you look, and it's still the case more so in England, that there's a lot more changes throughout the leagues there. And I always thought that we were better than that, and I liked the fact that we were better than that. We were always a bit more kind of patient with our managers and understanding. But the job of being a manager is so much more difficult now. You need real strength above you, real support above you. And anybody can manage when it's going well, but you need to be able to deal with the difficult times, the challenging times, whatever that is, whether it's results, injuries or whatever. I think sometimes sometimes decisions can be made too soon when results don't go there, because if you've got every confidence in giving a manager the job, then support them when it's not going so well. And I always think that if you believe in the person in the first place, then you come through that. That's not specifically on Barry here, I'm just talking in general.
Just on Motherwell then, they've recruited well the past couple of weeks. Is this another side to Motherwell? You're struggling before the window, do you see the side to them?
Yeah, listen, Stuart I think he's a fantastic manager. I think he's done exceptionally well. I think it's unfair to say that last season Van Veen was the only reason why they did so well. That is ridiculous. He went in at a difficult time, he shaped them up, he got them familiar with the team, he was consistent with selection, he got results. Yes, we all need players at the top end of the pitch who can make a difference, but he rescued them really from such a difficult situation. And then when the heat came on him a couple of months back, all that seemed to be forgotten about, and I'm glad that he managed to see that through. He's a good manager, and there's a reason for showing real patience, because I think he's had a tough hand to deal with in terms of he lost Birith as well, which was all a bit of a shock when he got recalled by Arsenal. And we're all looking for those guys at the top end of the pitch who can make a difference. So I think he's made a couple of good signings, Stuart, in this window. I sat with him last night at the Livingston game and had a good chat. Asked him his team for Saturday when he tell me. And like I say, I think he does a good job there, and he's had his own challenges that we all do. All managers at some point have to deal with certain periods where you just need to knuckle down, get your head down and get through it.
In terms of your squad, anybody else out, anybody coming back?
Nah, there was nobody else going out. One or two of the younger lads might, even after the window we can do that, but we're tight for numbers. You see that with our squad, we don't have the luxury of a lot of numbers, so when we do lose a few, it does put a wee bit of strain on us. We've been quite fortunate, it's not really ran into 5, 6, 7 injuries at any given time, but we've now got 4 maybe unavailable for the weekend, and all been key players for us this season. So we may still look to maybe add 1 if we can, but certainly nobody else leaving.
Can you remind us who the 4 are?
Ndaba, Dees, Lyons and McInnes.